My name is Jerl. I'm here at Luckstone. We're going to talk about this 336E excavator Caterpillar, which is a family of its own, of the size excavator, about the mid-size of its family. It's considered weighs about 90,000 pounds, and it can be transported all in one piece to be taken from site to site here at Luckstone. We also have a few of the safety issues and maintenance we're going to talk about, and also the pre-shift that has to be done on this machine before we can put it in operation. We'll get into some of more of the maintenance items and a couple of the items to identify. We have your air filter, which is the inner outer. We have your secondary fuel filters, which is 2 of those. Your batteries, some of your electrical components, air conditioner component, and that's pretty much about it in here. Then we're going to go to this compartment, which is your radiator, oil and hydraulic coolers. Keeps your oil cool. We have your windshield washer fluid. We have what they call preheat. This is your primary power switch that turns on, which needs to be turned on when you go to operate, which is your primary switch. As we walk around, counterweight. Also going to look at rear view camera. That way you can identify anybody behind you or avoid running over anything. We also have your 2 side mirrors, your handrails, all that has to be inspected, make sure it's in working shape. We're going to go in this compartment. This is for your oil drain when you do your service. This is your hydraulic drain. You have your hydraulic level, which is, you have 3 different levels, primarily the way the boom is setting, which is at a 90 degree, with your attachment setting on the ground. You should be in between the middle and the top line. We also got your primary pilot filters for your hydraulic system. You have your pump. You have your what they call primary fuel filter, which catches all the water and separates the water into this, and you can drain that out to prevent that from freezing up during the winter time. You have your engine oil filter. That's primarily about it in here. Then we're going to climb up. We're going to catch a few more items. As we get up here, we'll make sure the steps in good working shape. We also have some grease fittings, which the bottom 2 is for your boom pins. 1 for each side, 1 each. One's for the cylinder at the top for your stick on the end. These 2 are for your hoist cylinders, which is on each side. Grease those functions. You have your swing drive oil, which is located here to check your levels, which just holds about 2 gallons. That's about it. Then we have your fire extinguisher. We have your fuel. We have your hydraulic oil fill reservoir. We have your 5-pound required by MSHA fire extinguisher. Basically something starts to be able to get you off of the top of the catwalk. I'm going to go in here and open up the engine compartment. Primarily you have your oil. Check your oil level with the dipstick. Primarily check for anything missing, loose, broken. Check your fan belt. Just basically take a visual, make sure there's no metal, have any metal fatigue. Also check your antifreeze. Basically, if it's been operating, you definitely don't want to take the top off. So we already see the coolant level is where it needs to be at. Other than that, we look at the boom and make sure, look for any stress cracks, any bolts missing on that, and basically look down in the turntable, see if there's any leaks any hoses rubbing. Primarily try to catch them before we have any issues. We'll wrap this up. Then we'll walk back down here. Just keep 3 points of contact as you come down. And we'll go around and get in the operator's cab. Talk a little bit about that. Some of the functions that goes on here. You have a emergency stop and start. Stop on here just in case you're on the ground and need to shut the machine off and can't make it up top. We also have your forward, reverse pedals. Forward, which is this direction, will go in the direction where your idlers are pointing. Direction, you could be on the opposite end and you have to go the opposite way of your pedals because you're facing the opposite direction, so that doesn't change. So as we climb up, you also have your safety lockout, which prevents you from, when you get out of the machine, for causing a hazard on the machine moving on you while you're getting up out the seat. We'll climb up. We also have a seat belt. We'll make sure we don't have any torn or wear parts. Make sure no frays, any grease. Make sure connections are good. We have a monitor. We have an hour meter. And primarily we have our pre-shift. If we find any safety items or issues, primarily that's have our seat function, adjust your seats. And we're gonna get in here and start this up. We put our key in. This also has emergency shut off once you turn it all the way back to this way. I'm not going to do it. And then we'll be able to turn the key on, and then it's going to power up, and she's on. We check to make sure everything comes into play. Check service parts information. Everything's good to go, and we'll fire it up. And we have what you call a warm-up mode. Once that goes out, we want to make sure and check to see if our safety features work. So we primarily just leave that down and we'll operate the joysticks. Wiggle them around. We don't have no functions. Tram back and forth. We'll check our horn. And we primarily know that our safety functions are working. We have fast tram, slow tram, lights. We make sure those are working properly. Note anything that's wrong. Windshield wipers are working. That's primarily about it on that function. We'll cut everything off and we'll go back to operation of the joysticks. And as we do this, we will engage our safety feature. I also want to put our seatbelt on. We don't do any tramming without the seatbelt on. And as we get into that, we'll put our safety lever up, and now we have full function. We'll pull up for the boom. This one will operate the boom up and down, and we'll push down. And we'll pull back on this one, will come to us, and we'll go out. And then we also, this function here, will left, will stick in and out. And then we also will go up and down, and then we'll swing the machine with this function. Some of these triggers that you see, this one will operate the hammer. All these are set up to operate the hammer. Some of these, like I say, you have your horn function. And other than your seat adjustment, this pedal here will also operate. This was an older style setup that I kind of liked and wanted to keep in this machine. Was this pedal, well, also you can use with your leg if your hands get tired or don't want to use your finger function. And of course, we'll boom up and you'll listen to the travel alarm. That's I was telling you, going in the direction of forward, and this will be your direction backward. We also will look at our camera. We can see what's behind us, or we can swing around and see. And we'll be able to do you can do a full 360. And primarily that's about it for this 330 excavator. Primarily the maintenance and the operation, and we also fill out our daily operator sheet, which is machine and then site location, dates, how many hours, and your name. And that's about it.